Have you ever wondered why some women will get proposals from men in months while others have been with a guy for years and years and years and there is no proposal in sight? Well, contrary to popular belief, it's not about beauty, it's not about success, and it's not about perfection. Instead, it's about divine masculine psychology because that's what inspires him to commit once you understand how it works. And today, I'm going to be breaking down what happens in his mind, in a healthy man's mind, to be clear, and how to naturally inspire commitment. Hi, my name is Amanda. Welcome to this channel where I teach you how to manifest what you want in life without all the extra stress, chaos, and drama that most people are accustomed to. Lately, I've been teaching a lot on feminine and masculine energy in love. This is based on my 15 years of experience coaching women in different areas of their life and spending 6 years around high-performing, ambitious, masculine men as colleagues, where I put on my social scientist hat and I started asking them what they were struggling with in dating. Once I understood divine feminine energy and I understood what these masculine men were telling me and combined it, I was able to manifest my husband, who is a provider and a protector, within 4 months. And on this channel, I am teaching you everything that I know based on those 15 years of experience, 6 of which I was around a lot of the men that you all want to date and marry. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out on this channel. We have about 3 a week coming out at this point. And as always, I'm going to have extra resources available for you. I will mention them throughout. Now, for those of you who want to work with me privately, one-on-one, the applications are now open and you can find that below, because when I work with you one-on-one, I'm able to really get into your specific situations. So I've had a lot of different questions coming in with particular situations that I have zero context for, right? So I can give generalized information on these YouTube videos based on the average person, but that's not the same as me knowing what's really going on in your life and then creating a plan based on what is happening in your life right now. So if you're interested in that, make sure to apply below. I mean, we have a client now that really, if you guys have seen my other videos about level 1, level 2, and level 3 with divine feminine energy, within a week, I was already getting her into that level 2 stage, but that's only possible if I know what's going on with your particular situation. So applications are open below. So let's get into it. Here's the problem that women are running into in dating, particularly in the Western world, is what I'm talking about here. So women are approaching commitment and dating and marriage and partnership with masculine strategies, right? They try to convince him, they try to bring up the future, they try to have the talk, which I've said multiple times. If you are with a healthy man and you are in your healthy feminine energy, you're not going to need to have the talk. You're going to know exactly what's going on because he's going to tell you. And then you overgive to prove your worth, you perform, you're too easily available because you're like, well, if I'm available at work, I'm going to make a whole lot more money. So then it must be the same in relationships, and nothing could be further from the truth once you understand male psychology. And women also have a tendency of micromanaging, especially once they're married. That's when they really have the tendency to micromanage their men. And what happened is that this creates pressure and it actually pushes him away. It also shows that you do not trust him. And to a masculine man, trust and respect are probably 2 of the most important things you can give to a man. So most women are out here unintentionally operating in ways that show men that you neither trust nor respect him. And then what that ends up happening is it ends up pushing him away, and he ends up pulling back. The healthy men do. Now, the unhealthy men are going to freaking love you and they're going to flock to you. But the healthy men, the ambitious ones, the providers, the protectors, the ones who devote to you, commit to you, the ones who want to be with you for the rest of your lives, the ones who want to have kids and families and they want to be in that protector, provider, masculine role, they're not even going to see you, right? Or you're going to push them away if you keep doing these kinds of behaviors. Because the truth is that men commit through emotion and energy, not logic. And what most women are out here doing is that they're taking the same logic that they use at work or in other areas of their lives and they're bringing it into their romantic relationship. And it's backfiring, and it's backfiring big time. So let's get into divine masculine energy. And by the way, if you want to go deeper into how feminine energy and divine masculine energy work together, I have a masterclass which you can grab below. It is the masculine and feminine energy dynamics masterclass, which explains polarity and how these different energies dance with each other in different areas of your life, including relationships. So today in this video, I'm really just going to be going into masculine energy, but in that training, I go really deep into both and how they relate to each other. So make sure to check that out below. So let's first talk about the masculine drive. Okay, so the core here, and the core thing you need to understand, is that men are driven, healthy men are driven by purpose, mission, provision, and protection. Why is that? Well, because for thousands of years, their survival and their status depended on these things, particularly provision and protection. Still to this day, their status depends on whether or not they can provide for a woman, right? Like a man's status goes up automatically just by a woman getting with him. Now, if he's able to provide for her, his status goes up again. So it really isn't that different from what our ancestors were doing. We're still kind of wired in the exact same way. And men, they want to feel like a hero, they want to feel valued, and they want to feel successful. So if you're the one who's always doing everything, which a lot of women overgive and overfunction because they feel guilty receiving, that's the common denominator I've noticed through all of this. What that ends up doing is that it blocks his masculine and it shows that you do not trust him. And oftentimes women who are operating a lot in their masculine energy, here's what ends up happening in their relationships. Let's say like you end up getting a commitment from a guy, right? He doesn't pull away or whatever, but there's two things. This could go in two different directions. Number one, you end up with a very feminized man, which is going to make your life difficult. Or the other thing that ends up happening is that if you do, by a miracle, end up with another masculine guy, there's going to be a lot of headbutting, right? And I think the ones who end up with the headbutting, usually those are like me. I'm a very ambitious woman. I was taught that I had to survive. I was taught that I can't rely on men. Most women have been taught that they cannot rely on men. So sometimes, when my husband and I got together, even though I understood all of these things because I'd been raised for 30 some odd years, with that thinking operating in the back of my head, sometimes there would be some headbutting because he's very masculine. He's more ambitious and, well, of course, he's more masculine than I am. He's got more testosterone than I do, but he's very ambitious. He's a healthy masculine man. So sometimes there would be a little bit of headbutting. And that's one of the things that those of you who are married, you just have to be mindful of. But a lot of times women, another masculine guy, a lot of times they end up with the passive men that they end up divorcing later. So here's what triggers commitment from men. He commits when loving you feels like a mission and a purpose, right? So I've oftentimes said this in other videos. Men need you, right? Because a woman's desires, and a woman who is in her divine feminine energy is very clear about her desires, and she's very good at receiving those desires. And the receiving is what I've noticed is the most difficult thing for most of you guys to do at this point. In this community and YouTube channel, I've noticed that's problem number one more than anything. There's a lot of guilt that you guys feel when you're receiving, and my husband already said he was going to come on at some point when he has time to talk about that specifically and why women should not feel guilty when men are giving to them. So make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that one. But basically, he needs your desires because your desires give him direction. Your desires give him purpose. Your desires are what gives him the motivation to keep going. Your appreciation keeps him going. Your love keeps him going. Not in a struggle love kind of way. That's a whole different situation. Not in a fixing a man kind of a way. But you being very clear on your standards and your desires is like a mission to him in his psychology. So and also the other thing that triggers commitment is challenge. Right? So here's another one of the core drivers of men. And this one in particular, the core drivers of men, I cover in the Feminine Magnetism Mastery program. So make sure to grab that one because that's where I go really deep into the psychological drivers of men. There's 3 of them. One of them is the ability to protect and provide. Another one of them is challenge. So a lot of times what happens is that women are too available, and because they're too available, there's no challenge, and because there's no challenge, it's not triggering any commitment from him. Men grow by challenge. Men are built by challenge. So what happens, right, is if a woman is not a challenge, he's not going to want to commit to her. He's not going to feel like he won anything. He's not going to feel like he got a prize. He's not going to feel like he was really successful in accomplishing anything because you were too easy. In other words, right? He needs to feel successful and like he accomplished something because that's how he is proud of his role. And women who inspire this in him, right? They're the ones who get proposals very quickly. My husband knew within 90 days that he wanted to commit to me. It does not, and that's pretty average, 3 to 6 months. They pretty much already know whether or not they want to marry you. By the time we got to the 90-day mark, my husband flew 12 hours to meet my entire family. We were engaged shortly after that, and we were married shortly after that, right? It does not take that long. It does not take years, right? When it takes years is when a woman did not make it known up front that she was not dating for fun, but she's courting for marriage. And then that's how she ends up in situations where she's with a guy for years and years and years, and there's still no proposal in sight, right? The other thing that you want to learn how to understand in a man is the claiming instinct, right? Men want to claim a woman when they're in divine masculine energy. Now, that claiming sometimes throws the feminists for a loop, right? Because they're like, I'm not property, I'm not owned, blah, blah. We're not talking about you being property of a man. We're talking about you being covered by a man. That's the difference. When you are covered by a man, he publicly claims you, usually through marriage. He publicly claims you, he protects for you, he provides for you, he wants to give you the whole freaking world. That's what it's like to be claimed by a man. It's not about owning you in the sense that you are his property. It's about him covering you. And let me tell you, it's really sexy. When you get to a place within yourself that you are a healthy woman and you understand what healthy masculine behavior is, it's one of the sexiest things in the entire world. Now, that instinct to claim is triggered when he feels successful in loving you. So what does that mean, right? That means that he's providing for you. It means that you are receiving the provision really well. And again, y'all struggle with the receiving part. Okay, I know. I'm going to have to talk about receiving for a long time on this channel. With my private clients, that's usually the thing we have to work on the longest, is getting really good at receiving as a woman, because you'll allow yourself to receive in some areas but not others, and a divine feminine energy woman knows how to receive in all areas all the time. And men, masculine men, love that because their efforts are being rewarded, right? And they need to feel like they're being successful and that they are up for the challenge and that they met the challenge and they won, right? So that triggers the claiming energy. And some ways that you can trigger this in men are by appreciating him, and I'll get deeper into that in a second. And the other thing is that when you learn how to receive well from him, it's also going to trigger that energy to want to claim you because it's a beautiful relationship. He gives to you, you receive it, it makes him want to give more. That's how this works, right? And when he gives to you, then he feels good as a man because remember, for thousands of years, their survival and status depended on being able to provide. And still to this day, their status is still dependent on them being able to provide. Even if you make your own money, right? There is still something about a man where he's going to feel really good when he's able to provide for you, and it's thousands of years of wiring that we're dealing with. So here are the 3 keys to inspiring this commitment, and I already talked a little bit about them. And again, I go deeper into this stuff in the Feminine Magnetism Mastery Program, which you can grab for $27 below. So number 1 is receptivity, the one y'all struggle with the most, as I have said. So you want to learn how to receive love, you want to learn how to receive help, and you want to learn how to receive his effort gracefully. So examples will be like saying thank you, letting him plan the stuff, letting him solve your problems, accepting help from him without guilt. Now, in the beginning, you're going to feel super guilty, some of you, because you're like, oh, that's not fair. He's giving so much to me. And the reason a lot of women do that, number 1, they don't feel worthy of receiving it to begin with for lots of reasons. There's lots of wounds that will cause that. But the second thing is because we've been told about this fairness thing, that we think fairness in relationships works in the same way that it works in every other area of our lives, and it does not. We're playing by a whole different game when it comes to relationships, with a whole other set of rules and a whole other set of psychology, because men and women are totally different. Also, the things that you give to a man, to put it that way, are totally intangible. I was talking to my husband about this the other day because I wasn't feeling well a couple weeks ago, and he was taking care of me. He got me tea, the heating pad, he made sure I was comfortable, all that kind of stuff. And I said something silly. I said something like, oh my gosh, I feel so useless because I've just been in bed for like 2 days. And he's like, useless? What are you talking about? Like, the ways that you give to me, like, I would not. He goes, they're invisible, right? Which is like why it's hard for me to like kind of describe exactly how you do it, but you give to me in ways that you cannot even imagine. And it's because what we give to men is intangible. Because what we give to men is that feminine energy, and they need that feminine energy in order to access certain things in their lives. Without us, they can't access it. So, and I can do a whole other training on that, because once women fully understand what it is that they give to a man by receiving, then it becomes a whole lot easier, right? Now, one of the things that you can start doing, and I've talked about this a million times, is you can start learning how to receive from all the men around you. It doesn't even have to be romantic, right? If he's a man, learn how to receive from him, whether it's solving your problems, whether it's taking you out, whether it's counsel or advice, whatever it is, start learning how to receive from the men around you, and start working through those feelings of guilt that a lot of you feel, because you're going to have to learn how to receive without guilt and without immediately wanting to give back in order to attract a healthy masculine man, because all a healthy masculine man wants to do is give to you. Number 2 is appreciation. Massive, right? So you want to appreciate not just his actions or his results, but also his character. So examples of that would be like, I feel so safe with you. You are so thoughtful. You did such a good job with that. Because when you do that, he actually feels seen to his core. Why? Because their ability to survive and get status for thousands of years was the ability to provide and the ability to protect. So when you appreciate his efforts to provide and protect, he feels seen deep down to his core, and that's part of what creates a deep emotional bond. And number 3, you want to learn how to inspire his protection. So you want to allow him to be the protector and the safe space. So for example, you want to learn how to share vulnerability. Now, there are specific ways to do this without oversharing or overgiving. And in that Feminine Magnetism Mastery program, I go really deep into that. I think it's like 4 or 5 hours of training altogether, where I go really deep into these things and the psychology of it and how to say the thing and so on and so forth, because there is a way of sharing vulnerability where you're not going overboard. Because if you go overboard, you're actually going to shut off his desire to want to commit to you. So I just wanted to put that caveat there. The other things that you can do is ask for advice, tell him he makes you feel safe. And what that does is that it triggers his claiming instinct, and it triggers his desire for long-term commitment to you. And the thing is that when you start to embody these 3 things, he's going to start bringing up the future and how he sees you in the future. And he might start asking your opinion for big decisions, like, where do you want to live? I'm thinking about buying this house, but he's going to start asking you to help give your opinion for really big decisions, because he sees you in his future. That's one of the things that's going to start happening. And then finally, right, you might be wondering, like, okay, well, how on earth do I embody this energy? Because there's different parts to it, right? It's embodying the energy and it's starting to become who you actually are rather than it being performative. And it's also understanding the skill sets of like, okay, well, how do I actually communicate this stuff? Like, what do I actually say? And there's the part of it that's just understanding what's going on and what is the dance between the 2 energies, and in this case, the 2 sexes. Well, that's why you need to get the Feminine Magnetism Mastery program, because I'm going to go a lot deeper into the 5 pillars of feminine magnetism, which I just did a video on, but we go deep. Like I said, it's like 3, 4, 5 hours of training, I think. We're also going to talk about how to shift from masculine to feminine energy so you can attract healthier men. We're going to talk about the communication for attraction and commitment, how to actually have these conversations. And the results that you get from this is that women actually get pursued, they get cherished, and they get chosen. And it's available now, and you can get instant access for $27. The link will be below. So here's the thing you need to remember first and foremost. You don't need to change yourself. Okay, this isn't about changing. This isn't about manipulation. It's like I've been reminding you on videos lately. You were born knowing how to do these things. It's just through society, through experiences we had in our formative years, through culture, all these things have kind of been lost. But the reality is that you were born with it, and all you need to know how to do is learn how to reactivate it within you, and it's immediately going to start changing your results with men. So comment below, let me know what your biggest takeaway was. If you like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out on this channel. Make sure to give it a like because it actually helps us get it in front of more women. And I'm on a mission to help as many women and couples as possible because it is a hot freaking mess out here. And I've done other videos explaining how we got here, particularly in the United States. How did it get so messy? It's been messy for 100 years, and we now have like the crumbs of a society basically because we're so confused about these particular topics, right? So make sure to give it a like because my mission is to help women and men be less confused about all of this stuff so we can have more harmony. When we have more harmony, we have better societies and a better future for future generations. Because right now, Gen Z is really struggling because so many of these things have gotten lost over the last 100 years in Western culture in particularly, and Gen Z is struggling as a result of it. And it stops with us so that it doesn't keep affecting future generations. And finally, one thing to keep in mind is the right man is going to want to commit to you. All you need to do is learn how to inspire his natural desire to claim you. Thank you so much for giving me your time today, and I'll catch you on the next one.